Hi LEGO fans! Time to step away from that invisibility booster and consider what exactly is the function of a rubber duck as we blur the lines between the wizarding and muggle worlds. Today I'm going to be unboxing, speed building and reviewing the epic 76424 Flying Ford Anglia from LEGO Harry Potter. This is a 165-piece set, and with the exception of the 30677 Draco in the Forbidden Forest polybag, the cheapest set from the 2024 wave so far. You can pick this up for 13 Great British Pounds, 15 Euros, or 14 US dollars plus tax. After monolithic builds like the awesome Gringotts Bank, it's nice to get back to basics with a suggested building age of 7+. Based on the pale blue Ford Anglia 105E Deluxe that was enchanted by Arthur Weasley, there is space inside for 2 exclusive minifigures. We've got Harry Potter in a red flannel shirt, and Ron Weasley, later to receive a howler, in a tan sweater presumably knitted by Molly Wobbles. Also coming along for the ride is Hedwig, Harry's snowy owl, but sadly no cage. Turning to the back of the box, we find Scabbers hiding in the boot. For my American friends, that's the trunk. The roof is removable to allow Harry and Ron to sit inside. Or at least they could if they had knees. We'll see how that works out. This is not the first time LEGO has recreated the Weasleys' flying car. The first version came in the 4728 Escape from Privet Drive set in 2002. After an 8-year break, it appeared again in the 4841 Hogwarts Express before being resurrected for the LEGO Dimensions range in 2016. Another teeny tiny version appeared in the 71043 Hogwarts Castle in 2018, but returned to full size for the 75953 Hogwarts Whomping Willow set in 2018. Also in 2018 there was a Toys R Us exclusive build-in-store model from Canada. I don't have it, but I'm sure I can put it together from my parts collection. In 2020 we got yet another version in the 75968 4 Privet Drive set, and another tiny version came in the 2022 Harry Potter Advent Calendar. This is a set that I haven't built yet, but another tiny version appears in 76419 Hogwarts Castle and Grounds. Really looking forward to building that one. And that takes us full circle to 2024, so let's crack this open and see what goodness lies inside. You're a little scary sometimes. Well, that went to plan. Here's everything you get inside the impenetrable box. We've got 2 numbered bags of LEGO, a 58-page instruction booklet, and curse you LEGO, a teeny tiny sticker sheet. I'm going to go ahead and put together the 76424 Flying Ford Anglia from LEGO Harry Potter, and today this is going to be a 60-second speed build. And here is the completed 76424 Flying Ford Anglia from LEGO Harry Potter. Build time today was not very long and about as exciting as a 165-piece LEGO car goes. The result is a pretty passable version of the Weasleys' flying car before its encounter with the Whomping Willow. The stickers, which slowed me down just a little, depict the licence plate, or as we call it in the UK, registration plate 7990TD. The significance of this plate is unclear. In illustrated versions of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the plate is HOW782D, which with the D suffix would have been issued in 1966. In other depictions on Pottermore, we see the car using COS207, an obvious reference to the Chamber of Secrets. The car we see in the Chamber of Secrets was an authentic 1962 Ford Anglia 105E, built at Ford's Dagenham plant near London in the UK. In fact, producers used 16 cars adapted in different ways as needed for different shots. If you get a chance to go on the backlot tour at Universal Studios Hollywood, you can catch a quick glimpse of one of the actual picture cars, as they call them. J.K. Rowling became a fan of the Ford Anglia in her teenage years when friend Sean Harris used to pick her up and rescue her from her boredom. Not unlike Ron, Fred and George rescuing Harry after he's locked up after Dobby dumps dessert on Mrs. Mason, ruining Vernon Dursley's undoubtedly inappropriate Japanese golfer joke. The car is pretty much what you'd expect, but the colour choice is a little bit different. This is bright light blue, which is in contrast to the medium blue used for other models. We'll be taking a look at all of those later in the video. Unlike other sets, this is designed to be played with, which is why it's built on two sturdy 2x14 plates. Including the bumpers, the Flying Ford Anglia is exactly 16 studs long and 6 studs wide, or 8 including the wing mirrors. For my American friends, that's what British people call side mirrors. Unfortunately, these seem to be missing the mirror glass. Like the original car, the Lego version is a sporty two-door, but that's the only sporty thing about this. With a 997cc 4-cylinder engine, the top speed of the Ford Anglia was a dizzying 73 miles per hour, and it took 26.9 seconds to go from 0 to 60. Lego has pimped this ride with flat silver 11mm rims and 17.5mm tyres with 6mm of tread. Take a corner too fast on these babies and you're going to be spending some time with Moaning Myrtle. The doors are fully functional and incorporate part of the Go Faster stripe which decorates the side of the car. The only reason I can see for the stripe not covering the whole door is limitations in Lego's printing process. Notice how it goes very close to the protruding door handle. The front of the car is nicely done and captures the vintage feel of the Ford Anglia. I like the organic sweep above the license plate which gives the car a convincing face. The headlights, which would have been dimmed by today's standards, are made simply from 1x1 trans-clear round tiles. Things get much fancier at the back with American classic car style angles. The light clusters incorporate a trans-orange cheese slope and a trans-red 1x1 round tile. Also at the back of the car we find an opening trunk. Aside from storing bodies, it's also a good place to put your luggage. There's enough room in here for a couple of bags or maybe a Japanese golfer's golf clubs. When you're a minifigure, doors aren't always that useful. Thankfully, Lego has incorporated a removable roof. What we do lack inside is anywhere to sit, but that's okay. Ron and Harry don't have knees, so they can't sit down anyway. It's a little tight, but there is room inside for Ron, Harry and that bloody pigeon. Often it can be near impossible to get two minifigures inside a car, but Lego has done a really good job here. The interior, like my bank account after a visit to the Lego store, is pretty sparse, but that's exactly what we would expect from a vintage car of this era. The steering wheel is a little unusual, but does create more space for the minifigures. The lack of brakes is a bit of a concern, but I don't suppose it's an issue when you haven't got an accelerator pedal or anything to change gears with. The final sticker, which I removed and reapplied about 17 times, incorporates what I think is the glove box and a mysterious button. This would be the invisibility booster which protects the car from being seen by muggles. Or not, as the case may be. Annoying stickers aside, this is a good looking car and nice and robust. I like the fact that Ron, Harry and Hedwig sit neatly inside, but I'm not quite sure what those brown studs are meant to represent. If you do let me know in the comments. As well as Ron, Harry and the Flying Ford Anglia, we also get their pets. This is Scabbers, Ron's rat, and is a common element, having appeared in 17 sets and 3 books at the time of writing. Scabbers was of course Peter Pettigrew the Animagus, who would have been about 34 at this time. I bet Ron needed a lot of therapy after realising he'd been sharing his bed with half-man half-rat Pettigrew. Harry Snowy Owl Hedwig is also a common element, having appeared in 17 sets and 7 books. Officially, the non-Lego Hedwig appeared in 6.5 books. Sorry? Too soon? Sticking with the boy what gone done lived, this is a new and exclusive minifigure. Okay, the tan child-sized legs are a stock element, but the printed torso with the dark red plaid flannel shirt is brand new. Both minifigures are wearing the costumes that Ron and Harry wore when chasing the Hogwarts Express in the Flying Ford Anglia. More on that in just a moment. We find more of the red plaid flannel design on the back of Harry's torso print. The hair, whilst perfect for the character with that cutout for Harry's scar, is very common. The same can be said for the head print, which has been used in 16 Harry Potter minifigures so far. The first expression shows a relatively relaxed Harry, but the alternate expression reveals a look of sheer terror. It's like he just opened a Christmas present and found a Justice Wizard set. Yes, that is a thing, and don't do it. He's a wonderful little minifigure and perfect for recreating early scenes from the Chamber of Secrets. The same can be said for Ickle Baby 11. Again, we have stock legs, this time in dark grey, But then we have what is undoubtedly a hand-knitted sweater over a red t-shirt. More printing around the back picks out the knitted design. Ah, another Weasley! Yes, Ron is unmistakably a Weasley with that red hair. Like Harry, Ron also has a facial expression which turns into complete terror. Again, we have the perfect minifigure for recreating early scenes from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Shall we go down that rabbit hole? The adventure starts in London's King's Cross station, where Harry and Ron find themselves unable to get onto platform 9 3/4. Little did they know the evil Dobby had used his elfish magic to close the portal.
Harry Potter must not come back to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry this year.
Why can't we get through? The gateway sealed itself for some reason. The train leaves at exactly 11 o'clock. We've missed it. Harry, if we can't get through, maybe Mum and Dad can't get back. Maybe we should just go and wait by the car. The car! There we go. Now all we need to do is find the Hogwarts Express. Are you sure you know how to fly this? No problem. Ron, I should tell you, most muggles aren't accustomed to seeing a flying car. Oh, right. To cut a long story short, Ron and Harry eventually catch up with the Hogwarts Express, or more correctly, the Hogwarts Express catches up with Ron and Harry. So the latest version of the Flying Ford Anglia may not be the best looking version in the world, but it does undoubtedly have some very nice play value. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of many iterations of the Weasleys' flying car. To find the first version, we have to fast forward to 2002 and the 4702 Escape from Privet Drive set. I have reviewed this before, so if you haven't already done so, do check out the review on my channel. This version of the Ford Anglia is slightly bigger than the current incarnation. In terms of width, it is about the same, but does lack those side mirrors. Lengthwise, it beats the newer version by at least a stud, and those inappropriately chunky off-road tyres help to make this a little taller. This first 2002 version has been on display for many years. You'll notice some of the bricks have become discoloured, a real problem with these Flying Ford Anglias. One key difference differentiating the old from the new is the colour. These old versions use medium blue, which has a tendency to fade in the sun, and can be challenging when it comes to finding spare parts. After its first appearance in Escape from Privet Drive, we had to wait until 2010 to get the next instalment. This came with the 4841 Hogwarts Express set. In this set, we have everything we need for Harry and Ron to chase the legendary train. Again, the car is in the medium blue colourway and has plenty of room for minifigures inside. LEGO is, however, still working on getting the right set of rims. Appearances in this case are very deceptive. The 2010 version is roughly the same width and length, but the roof is considerably higher to accommodate the minifigures. The flared fins at the back definitely show some artistic license from the design team. Our next meet and greet with the Flying Ford Anglia came in 2016. This is the 71247 Harry Potter Team Pack from LEGO Dimensions. If you're not familiar with that, it was part of a video game system that worked with your games console. The cool thing was that you could build characters and models, like the enchanted car, and have them appear inside the game. The base incorporated RFID so the game would know what you were placing on the portal. In all honesty, the game didn't care what you built on the chip. This would be instantly recognised as the Flying Ford Anglia, or the Hogwarts Express. I honestly can't remember which chip is which. It was a really neat way to introduce new characters, features and levels into an existing video game. It also shifted a ton of LEGO. Although considerably smaller than its big brother, it's still a very recognisable version of the Ford Anglia. If you thought this version was small, then check out this micro-scale beauty. This came appropriately sized for the 71043 Hogwarts Castle from 2018. Breaking it down to only the most essential parts, this micro-scale recreation uses only 4 elements. You've got to love the use of a minifigure roller skate for the wheels of the car. Recreating the scene from the Chamber of Secrets where the Ford Anglia gets beaten up by the Whomping Willow, this was a really nice feature from a very exciting set. So exciting that Toys R Us in Canada had a make and take event to promote it. Yes, I did manage to get all of the pieces, and here it is. I thought I had all of the LEGO Harry Potter sets, but when you dig deep enough you can always find more. The sculpted grey elements at the front and the back weren't the easiest to find, but as usual, Bricklink did me proud. If I'm honest, this looks a little bit more like a Porsche 911 than a Flying Ford Anglia. But hey, it was something they were giving away in stores, and who could complain? The main annoyance is trying to keep my parts collection stocked with those medium blue curved pieces. Also in 2018, we got a Flying Ford Anglia in the 75953 Hogwarts Whomping Willow set. This is the best version yet and incorporates the white stripe on the door which we see in the latest version, except of course the latest version's doors are bright light blue. Finally in this version, LEGO manages to get the rims right. In terms of the length, height and width, this is very similar to the latest incarnation. The elements used at the front of the car are almost identical, but there are a few stylistic differences around the back. On the inside, some idiot has put the steering wheel in the middle, and we seem to be lacking the invisibility booster. Although it looks really good, I do recall this being a pain in the ass to load minifigures into. Moving along the chronological shelf of interesting items, we come to the 75968 4-privet drive set from 2020. You will of course find a detailed review of this on my channel. If I had to summarise this set, it's like the 2002 version, but good. The car itself looks very similar to the 2024 version. There are of course some subtle differences, not least being the medium blue colour. I'm really not sure why LEGO went with yellow headlights. Maybe they thought they were taking a trip to France in the 1980s or something. Another key difference is the way the roof is put together. The 2020 version, aside from the dust, has a much more pleasing aesthetic. The main issue I have with this version are those hideous stickers at the back. The brick-built pillars are a much more satisfactory solution. Next we fast forward to 2022 and the annual advent calendar door opening spectacular. Behind door 4 of the advent calendar, we got a teeny tiny Whomping Willow with a teenier tinier Ford Anglia. Dispensing of the clear 1x1 makes this the smallest version. The final mainstream appearance of the Flying Ford Anglia is in the 76419 Hogwarts Castle and Grounds set. This uses the same build technique as the 2022 advent calendar, so technically this also contains the smallest version. So I think that takes us to about 10 LEGO Flying Ford Anglii. Yes, Ford Anglii is the plural for the Ford Anglia. But in the words of Master Yoda,
no, there is another.
In 2018 there was a LEGO brand store exclusive build which I just happened to have located. Well okay, I built it from my spare parts collection. This was only available in Singapore, but if you pause the video, you should be able to figure out the instructions and make your own. It's a clunky wee beastie, but clearly inspired by Mr. Weasley's car. If he asked you how'd it go, be sure to let him know it got to Surrey and back just fine. So that was the 76424 Flying Ford Anglia from LEGO Harry Potter. It's the vintage car so iconic, LEGO made it no less than 11 times. And you know we still want one at a much bigger scale. Pretty please LEGO. I hope you enjoyed this surprisingly long video about a 165-piece LEGO car and maybe learned a little along the way. If you did, don't forget to drop a like or why not send a super thanks and stand out in the comments. Thanks a million for taking this Weasley charter flight with me today, stay out of sight of muggles, and I'll catch you on the next video.